Are you ready?
This is Darian Bengston. I love wrestling, and you love wrestling, and we love wrestling.
So welcome to We Love, the We Love Wrestling spot. We love wrestling. I'm here. I'm Trey D. Today we got somebody. If you watched Wednesday, we was doing an international thing. We're gonna keep in that realm of things here. We got one of the brightest young and up and coming stars in the industry right now. If you don't know this man, he is from UK. We have Mr. Darian Bengston, or as I like to say off his Instagram name, Lord Bengston. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to have you on here. Been seeing you for a long time, so I'm happy to do this spotlight on you. So the first question that I always ask here is, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
What started my love for wrestling was, I've always enjoyed it. Right. I was born in Waterloo, Iowa, which is the birthplace of the NWA. Big wrestling city, amateur wrestling as well as professional wrestling, and I've always been around it. My parents weren't too crazy about me watching it as a kid. Like Attitude Era stuff was a little too raunchy for them, so I had to pause. So my first introduction was actually TNA and WWE ECW is where I started watching. But I didn't love it yet, right? Like I really liked it, but I was still like a kid. What made me love wrestling, and some people already know this story, but I was an actor living in London, living in the UK, and I had an incident where a director on the play I was working on cut all my hair off, like just straight up grabbed me by the back of my head, pair of scissors, cut my joints off, and that really kind of like put me in a kind of weird place. I felt like I wasn't being understood. I felt like I was kind of alone, and no matter what my efforts were, it wasn't going to amount to anything. The same time that this is going on is when Kofi Mania starts, right? And I was watching that, and it was making me feel things that I had almost become numb to, especially when it came to the acting world. And the whole story was so gorgeous and so delicately told, and that moment when Kofi wins the title and, he has his kids with him and his brothers with him, and everyone is just, so happy to finally see someone's journey like pay off. That meant the world to me. And so that's what made me like really fall in love. And then by happenstance, a woman I was working on the show with did lights and sound for Lucha Britannia and the London Lucha League, which is a part of the London School Lucha Libre, which is like where Will Ospreay got his start, Aaliyah James, Cara Noir, Nina Samuels, Cassius, Malik, so many other, people that I think are doing really great work coming out of the UK. So I was honored to be a part of that school under Greg Burge and Gary Vanderhorn.
Did you say you was doing acting and somebody grabbed your hair and cut it off?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
You got to explain what's behind that, because I heard it. I was like, did he just skip over that like that? So what was that about? Was that like an acting method, or what happened with that?
Yeah, there was an aftermath. It got into some administrative formal complaint type situations. It was tricky because the woman that did it was like a guest director. She was also a dame of the British Empire, a very famous, very prestigious individual. And I was, just me. So I was in sort of like not a case per se, but I was in a sort of situation with them for about like 2 years. That's just finally kind of come to a close. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That's crazy right there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. You started over there training in UK and everything. What's the biggest differences you can tell from like UK to the US with wrestling?
Some of the biggest things that I've noticed in my training and things like that. I think the UK is a lot more art-based, whereas I think the United States is more sports-based. They hit a lot harder in the UK. And it's much less about like good versus evil over there. And it's more about like a contest of wills, was my experience and in my training. It was, a bigger blend of international styles, especially right now. The UK scene is very inspired by Japan, as well as the traditional British style. And I was at the London School of Lucha Libre, so we also did a lot of lucha. So it was kind of like the American style was a thing missing from my arsenal. But, since coming to America, I trained at the Nightmare Factory, and now I've got, that tool as well.
Nightmare Factory. Shockingly, well, not shockingly, had somebody on a while ago talked about you. Stunt Marshall put you over very, very big about you training down there at this Nightmare Factory and him training with you.
That's my boy. I love Stunt.
So how is it training down? And where are you a part of the new Nightmare Factory or before they became the Nightmare Factory?
So I joined literally, I think probably 2-3 weeks before that first ever showcase started. Okay. So I was never a part of like the camp system. I came right in as one of like QT Marshall's advanced class members. And that's where my tenure has been. I am on a match in the next showcase that'll be shown. So I did finally get a chance to be able to work with the camp students and get to work with some of the talent there.
Okay. Working with the camp students. Let's talk about some of the other work you're doing. So I believe I first seen you at, and I hope I'm not wrong. Let me see. Let me try to look up here because I got the poster back here.
Yeah.
Were you on the first Black Wrestlers Matter show?
So it's a funny story. So I did commentary for the first show.
Okay, I did see. Okay.
Yeah, I literally just moved to America, and it was really cool because it was like my first show in America. It was in my home state, but yeah. So John, I don't think you'd mind me telling the story. John got a lot of white wrestlers who would hit his DMs and be like, "Hey, it'd be really good if I came out during the Battle Royal and went, hey, all wrestlers matter." And then everyone threw me out. That'd be hilarious. I've heard that take so many times, right? And John didn't know who I was. So when he got my DM asking about working on the show and things like that, I think he was, I don't know why, maybe he saw London, England, and was just like, nah, you're not going to be on this. But eventually, like my homies were like, no, Darian's cool and one of us, so let's find something for him. And it was last minute, but I was able to work commentary, and that was just a great like entry point for me.
Okay, so I know you're on the last Black Wrestlers Matter show,
yes,
and I believe the one that was in the club in Iowa, you was there also. Yeah, okay, so I was right on that. Yeah. You've been doing. So Black Wrestlers Matters, you was in a scramble match.
Yes.
The IWTV champion was there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more on that in a second.
Yeah.
But that scramble match was crazy. How'd you feel about that being there in St. Louis for that scramble match?
It was nuts. It was really a whirlwind because that match got changed quite significantly before we actually did it. It was originally supposed to be myself, Devon Monroe, and Zay Washington. Devon couldn't make the show. There was a mishap with a different match, and so then it was changed to me, Zay, and AC Mack. And then it became me, Zay, AC Mack, and Doc Simmons, who I wrestled in second Black Wrestlers Matter show in the club in Iowa. And so it was like, okay, like car stack against me, like we got, the newly won IWTV World Champion AC Mack. I got Doc Simmons, who I lost to at the last year's show, and I got Zay, who is nuts. Like the way that kid can move is outstanding. So I was like, okay, I still need to show out though. I need to make sure people know that I belong here.
Right.
So AC Mack dropped me on my head, and that's what it was.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, but if you want to see that clip, click right there on the YouTube, and it'll take you to the video of it. But you and AC Mack, it's interesting because I think y'all got another like triple threat coming up.
Yeah, so I don't know what AC Mack's deal is, right? Because our first time crossing paths was I had a match. It was me, Myron Reed, Chris Bay, and it was supposed to be Trey Miguel in a four-way match at Zicky Dice's Outlandish Paradise. Trey, I think, had some sort of like oral surgery that ended up pulling him out. So AC Mack gets added to the card and kicks me in my face, So I'm like, okay, don't know what this deal is, right? And then I'm in the crowd supporting Alex Shelley at Southeast First, who is a member of Team Tiger Driver, which I'm a member of. And AC Mack takes the IWTV World title off him. Like, all right. Then Mack gets added to my match in Black Wrestlers Matter. Like, okay. And now I have another triple threat with Mack at IWE on May 14th. So I don't know why he's chasing me. And I also don't know why he won't see me one-on-one. I don't understand why it has to be, with other people in the room, and he just, gets to pick me apart. But, that's a question for AC Mack.
Oh, so are you saying the IWTV champion is afraid to face you one-on-one?
I'm saying the IWTV championship belongs to Team Tiger Driver, and he's got it on loan right now.
Oh, well, AC Mack, I'll make sure to cut that for you. So if we talk about IWTV winning the IWTV championship, you're in the South. I saw you on different shows down there. Y'all got Uncharted Territories coming down there this summer.
Yes.
How they hit you up to be on that? Because it's Southeast First.
I've not been contacted to be a part of it. I've had talks with Action and TWE. I've done some Action Next Up shows, and when the time is right, I'm more than happy to work. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about doing some action shows. Somebody who main evented the first Black Wrestlers Matters. After the second one, I saw you versus Doc Simmons. Then I saw you in a match against JDX down there at Action Wrestling. What's your thoughts on JDS? Because he was down there at the Nightmare Factory too. Y'all train together.
Yeah. So I met Justin at the first Black Wrestlers Matter show, and so he immediately was presented as the biggest deal in the world, right? Main eventing ACH, beating ACH, and ACH is someone I have so much respect for, and I think has all the talent in the world. And she came to the Nightmare Factory. I'm like, yo, hold on. Like, why are you here? Like, you're trained enough to beat ACH. But, a lot of people don't realize, like, Justin is relatively new to wrestling. Like, he's had some staggering accomplishments, but he's still only, like, 4 years in, I think. So that's, to accomplish what he's accomplished in that time is, crazy. But yeah, me and JDX, we've wrestled at New South. We've wrestled at Journey Pro in Kansas City. We're scheduled to wrestle each other at Naptown. April 28th and 29th, Journey Pro has a tournament to crown their first ever Journey Pro champion. We're on opposite ends of the brackets, but if he performs like the JDX I know, and I perform like Darian Bengston I know, I feel like we don't meet in the finals.
Finals matchup, Journey Pro. They first champion they crowning?
First champion.
Can't wait to see that. See what's going on. Team Tiger Driver.
Yes.
You're part of that team. Let the people know about that if they don't know about Team Tiger Driver.
So Team Tiger Driver is I would say, a very, very special, very eclectic, very eccentric team. It consists of Alex Shelley, Calvin Tankman, Kevin Blackwood, myself, Jody himself, Ali Catch, Charlie Evans, Everett Connors, Puff. Trying to see if I'm missing anybody. Killer Kelly, and we are a team all put together by just the absolute visionary that is Chris. He is the one who created Tiger Driver. He is one of the best people I know, and I feel like I owe him so very much. And it's a team I'm very proud to be a part of. Two of the most important pictures I think I've taken in my wrestling career. One is my first ever wrestling show, which is Ring of Honor, Honor United at York Hall in London. It's me, Darius Lockhart, and August Jackson holding the Shane Taylor Promotions flag for Shane Taylor's TV title match against Joe Hendry. It's my first ever wrestling show. That's super important to me. And the other one is me, Tankman, and Blackwood holding the Tiger Driver flag. That just felt very full circle. It was almost just shy of like my 2-year wrestling mark, and yeah, just a great team to be a part of, and I really admire everyone else in the group.
Team Tiger Driver. If you don't know, follow them on Twitter. I don't know a handle because I think it changed at a point, but
Tiger Driver 9X, I believe.
Okay,
yeah,
it's still there. So
yeah,
follow that. Like he named the team, so I mean, that's a lot of good people. I mean, when he said Calvin Tankman, that was there. So you were supposed to be on the Naptown All Pro show in February, but we had the snowstorm that happened.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get you for the second, the next one coming, but maybe after that we can get you back to Indianapolis.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm based out of. So we go to this part, introducing yourself to people on our platform. I always ask, you out there on the independent scene, is there 3 independent people right now, if the match could happen, that you would like to face besides AC Mac? Because we know that match got to happen.
Yeah.
But you got 3 people who you would like to face?
So independent, so not signed.
Yeah, independent, not signed.
Okay. I'm going to say Kevin Blackwood, that's a homie. I adore him. I don't know if Alex Shelley's officially signed anywhere. So if he counts, I would say him. He's a huge influence on me, like I said. TNA is where I started watching wrestling. I'm a very big fan of the Motor City Machine Guns. And yeah, and let's see. Probably, I'd love to say like Chris Hero. But then even then, I feel like those are like 3 people that are kind of at the top of the mountain right now. There is a large group of like people who are up and coming as well that I have a separate list of. But those are like at the top of the mountain. Those are the people I want to see.
Who's the up and coming list? Give me 2 names. I got them.
Give you 2 names. Okay, I'm gonna say Jossie in the singles and Darius Lockhart.
Those are 2 names. Yeah, those 2 big names right there. Yeah, I mean, can you talk like Jossie?
Can I talk like Jossie?
Yeah.
I got a master's degree in Shakespeare. I better be able to talk like Jossie.
Okay. You technical like Darius?
Yeah, I'm British trained. I know it.
Just okay. I'm just saying, Darius was just over there, so
That's where we met. Yeah.
Man, that's an interesting matchup to look at and everything, because seeing you in the ring, you are technical, but you also do some new moves for your size that might surprise some people. When you going off, I'm like, is he supposed to be? Okay, I can dig it. I always ask this question because it's just You know, you trained in Shakespeare. So if we took a movie,
Yeah.
you pick any movie that it is.
Mm-hmm.
What movie would you pick to describe your wrestling career?
Mm.
And then who would be an actor that you would want to play you in that movie?
Okay. So one of my favorite movies of all time. I will stand by this movie. I think it stands up with any Oscar classic. I can't get enough of this movie. One of my favorite movies of all time is Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
I literally got the poster in my room. And because at the core, like what that movie is young people in a very oppressed situation trying to get their idea of art out and it being rejected and seen as a lower art form, right? And I always tell people, so Anthony Ogogo and I started training together, and we moved from London to America together. And what he brings to the sport of pro wrestling is he is a legitimate combat athlete, Olympic medalist, professional boxer. And the other side of pro wrestling is the art. And we have actors in wrestling. We have our John Cena's, our Rocks and stuff. But unfortunately, I don't think they're taken seriously as artists or as actors. Now, I think what my part to play in all of this is I want to be able to legitimize this as an art form. Because you're not going to tell me I'm not an artist. You're not going to tell me I'm not an actor. I've, gone to the greatest schools. I've performed all over the world. Like that's what I do. And, the trials and tribulations that come with that, I think mirror that movie very well. But if it's someone playing me in my own, I feel like I would want to play myself,
Oh.
I feel like for me as an actor, it's hard for me to assign a different actor to play me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it would have to be on some biopic, just playing myself type thing.
I can dig that. Is it time? Yeah, let's go ahead. Turn to the side before I ask this.
All right.
Darian, this determines a lot how I feel about you, how this interview gonna go. So, I always ask this question. The Rock or Stone Cold?
For me, they serve. They're hard to compare, I think, but it's hard to deny The Rock's influence because he is, like, no argument, the biggest star on the planet Earth. You know what I mean? And Stone Cold, I guess, like, you could say maybe in the world of wrestling is more respected, but you could say that about Bret Hart. You could say that about, a number of people, but it is undeniable that the biggest celebrity in the world right now, and probably I would make an argument potentially that The Rock is the biggest celebrity since Michael Jackson, probably. I mean, worldwide fame, you know what I'm saying? It's very hard to find people on the planet Earth who have access to internet or television who don't know, who he is. So it would probably have to be The Rock for that.
Let's go. Good. I mean, last 4 people we had on pick Stone Cold. I'm just happy to get a Rock out there, because I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? So good stuff right here, I dig it. We talked about Tribal Driver now before we go into the last part. I got to ask this. The Tiger Driver 9X,
Yeah.
The move. Seeing you do it, everybody blew like, oh, someone did the move.
Yeah.
Is it exclusively yours, or were y'all waiting for somebody to just pull that off?
So what happened was someone on Twitter was like, hey, there should be a move, right? And not to out some people, but one of my claims to fame amongst other wrestlers in the wrestling world is I'm very good with, like, creating new stuff, creating new moves, creating new ways to do moves. There are people with contracts to major companies whose signature, whatever moves are mine, and some of those are of my own permission and some of those aren't. But it's all cool. Like everyone,
Okay.
I've talked to everyone about it. So, yeah, so I have that reputation. So when they were like, okay, it's time to make the move, it was kind of laid in my hands. And I got in the lab. I for Robin Renegade was the test dummy. Took the first ever Tiger Driver 9X, and I tried a couple like different variations, and I sent them off to Chris as well as J Rose, kind of thinking like, okay, what are we thinking? And then I asked Chris, like, are you cool with this being the move? And J Rose was saying like he wants it to kind of be exclusive to me, but I would love if it was like a team wide thing, because if there's anything I've learned in wrestling thus far, and I haven't been doing it that long, your stuff will not be your stuff for long. Someone will do it, And so I'd rather be ahead of the curve and let everybody, on the team do it. And the thing is, it's a hard move. Like you gotta, flip a human being in the air. And I'm strong, but I'm not Calvin Tankman. And so if Calvin Tankman started busting that out, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be crazy.
Hey, when I saw, I was like, oh, that move. You brought it. I didn't want to talk about it, but I did hear about some people, taking your moves without permission. I was like, I want to stay away from that, not touch that. Don't want to start nothing. But if you already talked to them, that's good right there. Got that out there. Well, we got to go into this spot here. This is what we call during the put yourself over moment. This is where you let the people know your social media, things you got coming up, ways they can support you. He mentioned J Rose, not surprisingly. Well, you can hear J Rose this weekend. We just did a spotlight with him, Nap Channel Pro coming up. But Darren, we just want you to put yourself over.
All right. My name is Darian Bengston, born in Waterloo, Iowa, representing London, England, representing Tiger Driver 9X, representing the Nasty Team worldwide. I'm also a Nasty Team member, what I'm saying? He would kill me if I didn't say it, too.
Shout out Nasty Team.
Shout out Nasty. Shout out Nasty Leroy. That's 4E, baby. You can find me at Darian Bengston or at Lord Bengston across all socials. I have a Brainbuster tees if you want to get merch. I got more merch coming on the way. You can catch me at Journey Pro. You can catch me on AEW Dark. You can catch me on YouTube somewhere in the country. I'll be somewhere, wrestling somewhere. If there's one show that you can support in the upcoming month, please, please, please support Naptown All Pro. It has a very serious, very life or death level serious mission, and it wants to help people and accomplish really big things in a city that needs help. So if you can do anything at all to support Naptown Pro, please do.
Ooh, he just gave us the Naptown All Pro. I might as well tell y'all. Naptown All Pro, April 30th, Tinley Academy for those in Indianapolis, like Far East Side Community Center. It's the curb gun violence. I never thought I could be able to go to a show that's within walking distance in neighborhoods that I grew up in that got history in. So if you in the area, support. If you can't make it to the show, it's $10 sponsor a seat for the kids, so they'll be able to go to the show. 2 p.m. is the wake up show. 8 p.m. is the blackout show. And as I've been telling people, it's that it's the show that you want to be to if you are grown up to see it. But yeah, support Naptown All Pro. But yeah, man, just a show coming on to the far east side of Indianapolis. It's where I dwelled for a majority of my life, and it's just a beautiful thing with J Rose, Tankman, and Hoodfoot and Kemp and Holiday are doing to bring that to the event. We are sponsoring a few matches with Down for the Count, so be there. I can't say that part. But if you on the YouTube, at some point I'm gonna pull my phone out. Me and J Rose already talked about it. I'm gonna stream a little bit of the show. So, Darian, let's see. Lord Bengston. I got that. You ever had tea and crumpets, man?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Course. A lot of people in UK be like, man, we don't even be messing with the tea and crumpets like that. I'm like, somebody done had tea and crumpets over there. Tell me what you think about the UK food experience to our food experience, because we use a lot of chemicals and stuff over here, and I heard their food is more natural. So
yeah, so I mean, I'll say this, right? Like some real, just like honest truth. So two things. One, the food is healthier. It is. When I first moved to England in 2016, I weighed 250 pounds. When I left 6 months later, I was 168 pounds. I lost 90 pounds in 6 months. And I didn't eat less. It was just a combination of, one, you have to walk everywhere, so you naturally get that exercise. And yes, the lack of preservatives and the ingredients, the portion size is everything. It is much healthier there. I got dunked on. Hoodfoot came to my rescue a little bit. I got dunked on because, people were dunking on British food on Twitter. And you know what? I get it. The beans on toast is kind of weird. It is good, though. I don't touch the tomato at breakfast. That's kind of weird to me. But, some British food, pretty good. I mess with pasties. I mess with, the bagel bake, the salt beef bagel with the spicy mustard and the pickle, Sunday roast, crazy. Fish and chips, crazy. But some of it, I get it. It's kind of gross, Blood pudding, not my thing.
I was going with you, but the first thing you said was the beans on toast. I've had that before, and I do not. I'm like, nope, not at all. Nope. I mean, but like you said, you lost 90 pounds in 6 months.
90 pounds, yeah.
Man, I might need to go there and start my workout plan if it's like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I need to see it before and after. We're going to find that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, because the other part of it is the food's way cheaper as well. Man, you could get 3 avocados for I don't know, 70 cents over there. I mean, that's costing you $15, here,
Yeah.
So it was easier to eat healthy as well. The prices were a lot more justifiable than they are here.
They're trying to kill us in America. We need to do better in America. Cut that part out, Terry. Yeah, we need to do better in America. That's wild. Darian, so the last question I'm gonna ask before we get out of here.
Yeah.
People come to the show and they see you at a show, tell them the experience, what they're gonna take home after seeing you.
What I hope people take away whenever they see me is I hope they get to know a bit more about who I am. Because what I really want to do, and what I think is so great about professional wrestling is, at least on the independents, we have so much freedom, for the most part, over who we are. And one of my biggest qualms I had with the acting world, and with the world in general, is Black bodies are only seen in so many ways, so many archetypes, which is one of the reasons why I love the New Day so much. Even if they had to start with those archetypes to then become truer to themselves, and that's such a big part of why I think people like Willow Nightingale are so important. People like Tootie Lynn Ramsey are so important. Trevor Aon. There's so many ways that we can be, and it's that means a lot to me. For me to have gone to England, got a master's degree in Shakespeare, wear my golds, come out to a song that I rapped. I come out there with my little half skirt joint and my, I got my Basquiat crown on me and stuff like that means something to me. because that's something that I wouldn't get the opportunity to do, and Black kids didn't get the opportunity to see, coming up, and to be able to represent us in that way, and represent for anyone, because the more we make this an open space, the more you have representation across the board for everyone. It can't just stop with us. We can't stop until everyone is getting that platform. And that's kind of my mission. That means a lot to me. And that's a mission across all art disciplines.
He just said it. The 3 people he named, we had all 3 on here: Tootie, Lynn, Willow, Trevor, Aon, and they all say the same thing. It's different modes to Black people. All Black people are not the same. We got different strides and different things that we do, and it's important to see all of them. So you got to start booking out. I got this idea I've been telling people about, but you got to see all sides of Blackness, because Black come in many different forms, and you can't just put us in a box. So please stop doing that. That's a bigger conversation that we're gonna have to come back to.
Definitely.
But man, I enjoyed this, Lord Bengston. You know what I'm saying? Got you on the show and everything. I've seen this dude many times. I done seen him live maybe about 5 or 6 times. I'm like, we got to get him on the show. I told him at the last Black Wrestlers Matter in STL. I'm like, yo, we got to get you on. And I'm happy that we got him here. If you don't know him, go follow him. Check his stuff out. We're going to do a clip video. I'll put it on YouTube. I usually just put them on IG, but we'll put it on YouTube so you can check them out and get familiar with them. But Lord Bengston, thanks for giving us this time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. And I'm Trey D, and like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet. If I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we. You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?